Hi, everybody. This is Beth McCullough. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, and I blog at stampingmom.com. So excited that you could join me for World Card Making Day. So I'm going to feature several cards made with the stitched triangle dies. When this came out in the annual catalog, my friend said, "Oh, you have to get this," but in an effort to not buy everything, I told her no, and I was wrong. It is one of my favorite things right now. So here's the card that we're going to be making today. It's a beautiful card, I think. I used the plush poinsettia specialty paper, and then all three of the different colors from the brushed metallic foil cardstock. So joining me today is my husband, Steve.
Hi, everybody.
He joins me every Wednesday at noon ever since COVID started. We do Facebook Lives at noon Central Time. And Steve is here, and he has become a fan favorite.
I don't know about that, but I am, what do you call it? Supporting demonstrator.
He just filled out the paperwork to become a supporting demonstrator. I have been a demonstrator since 2003. So 17 years later, he jumped on board. So don't give up on your spouse or partners.
Wait, does this mean I have to make cards?
It does. He's just learning. He's always known how to do the big shot. But anyway, this is my favorite of all time fun fold. And I'm going to show you how to make it today because it's not as hard as it looks. Also, when I do the card, I always decorate the inside, decorate the envelope, so it makes a nice presentation. So the first thing I do when I do a fun fold is I always have a template. And I put these in a file, and then I make this card all the time, but in different ways. Here's one I made, I don't know, when the paper pumpkin came out. So they're all different, but they're the same concept. So it's easier if you have a template. So for the double step card, you need a piece of cardstock 5.5 by 8.5. In metric, that's 14.9 by 21. So I have a piece of cedar cinnamon cider right here. And I'm going to show you what to do. We're going to make 2 cut lines. First of all, hopefully you can see on my trimmer, I have this yellow strip. It's 1/4 inch by 11. And then I've attached it with 3 glue dots. And this is important that you be able to see the numbers on the ruler when you're making this type of card. Another adjustment I've made to my trimmer is where the arm swings out. It's hard to tell in here what the measurements are, but the crease right between the 2 pieces is 6 1/4. So I have a dot there. The first long line after the crease is 6 1/2, which is a measurement we're going to use today. Okay, so the left side is at 1 inch. And then you're going to use the darker cutting. Can you see me on there? The darker cutting blade and set it down at 3 1/4. 3 1/4 is 8 centimeters. And you're going to cut all the way down to 7.5 inches, which is 18.5 centimeters. Now we're going to move over to 4.5 or 1 inch from the other side and do the same thing again. So start the cutting at 3 1/4 and go down to 7.5. So you start at 8 centimeters and go down to 18.5 on both sides, and you're 2.5 centimeters from the edge. Now turn your cardstock so the long side is at the top and the cuts are over here toward the right. And now we're going to make a series of scores, and they're going to go from 1 inch all the way up to the top of the cardstock. Move it over to 6 1/2. That's the line I was telling you about. Is anyone commenting, Steve?
There's so many people commenting. I don't even know what to tell you.
Oh, well, tell me something. I thought maybe we had radio silence.
Canada, Southern Oregon, British Columbia.
Oh, yay.
Got lots of people from all over the place.
Are you guys happy with my attempt to tell you metric? I wish inches and metric just started out with the same size cardstock, so it'd be really easy to convert. But I do have this tutorial done in metric in another bundle that I'm going to tell you about later. Okay, so here's what we have done so far. We've done our 2 cut lines, and then we've scored out to the edges at 3 1/4, 6 1/2, and 7 1/2. Now we have 1 score line left to make. That's at 4 1/4 or 10 1/2. Now I would love it if you would make one of these cards and decorate it however you want and put it on social media with the hashtag Stamping Mom. Here it is, Stamping Mom. And I will look for it. I would love to see what you make, because you can decorate these cards. After I show you how to make it, really, it's just a matter of how you want to decorate it. So I'm done with the trimmer. And now what we're going to do is burnish all the score lines. And this card is awesome because it will stand up on the desk. Because we would all like to think as stampers that when we send someone a card, they're going to set it on their desk or their table and cherish it for a while. We don't want the people who throw it away. Do you remember? We were in a small group at church, and I brought a gal a birthday card, and she took it out of the envelope and said, "Oh, thank you," and walked over and threw it in the trash can. Do you remember that?
I remember that was totally unacceptable.
Steve had to hold me back. I wanted to get it out of the trash can and put a new piece of paper inside and give it to someone else.
That wouldn't throw it away.
Yes, someone worthy of my cards. Okay, so here, isn't that easy? Are they saying it's easy, hon?
Looking at it, you've got more people from British Columbia, Missouri, New Mexico, Vancouver.
Well, I am happy you're all here. Now I'm going to walk you through what we're doing on the rest of this and give you the measurements. And like I said, I have a lot of other cards to show you too. Okay, so we're down to this. What I did is I ran this brushed metallic foil, comes in 3 colors, and I used all 3 colors on this card. So I ran one of the colors. Steve and I debated if that's gold or bronze. What do you think? Okay, see this lighter color that the swirl is? And then this, I'm sure, is copper. I would say this is bronze, gold, copper. But he says this is bronze and that is gold. So
I say this is bronze.
Oh,
this
he
is the
says,
darkest
he
one.
says the copper.
I think the darkest one is the bronze. But that's I'm looking at the bronze medal in the Olympics and thinking it's got to be that dark.
Okay, so I used the Merry Christmas from the Word Wishes die, and I cut this out, and it's kind of big for the layer here. Like when I showed you this card, on this one I actually embossed, and there was room to put a layer down there. The Merry Christmas is so big, and that's why I didn't layer it. So but
Jill Peterson says she tells people they have to be buried with her cards. That's how important they are.
I agree with you, Jill. I have 2 friends who tell me specifically they've never thrown away a card I've made. So they get all the cards. So, okay, so Merry Christmas is on here. Now for these side pieces. Oh, I want to show you the pretty poinsettia paper.
Did you tell them the trick of how to not have to use glue on the back of this?
I will. That is a good point. He's heard me do this before. This is the poinsettia paper, and it's like velvet on the top. It's really super pretty. Okay, so what I did for this, notice you don't see any glue marks. I used the adhesive sheets, and I put it on the adhesive sheets, but I left the tips off so my adhesive sheet didn't cover the whole Merry Christmas. I found it easier to rip off the back if a little of the letters were showing. Are you happy, hun?
I'm happy. I
Okay.
think that's a really good trick because
Okay.
I'd have glue all over that
Yeah,
card trying to glue
it is easy to get glue. Okay, so on these side pieces, the brushed metallic, you want to cut out 2 of them. And I cut mine at 3 1/8. No, I didn't cut it at 3 1/8. I cut 3/4 of an inch by 3. And then I cut the 2 layers from the poinsettia paper just 1/8 of an inch smaller. And I don't have the metric for this, but what you're doing is you're just centering it on this space. So do whatever looks good in metric. Tell them about your metric converter.
Oh, so it's really challenging to figure out how to do the metric conversions
Because they're tall and skinny. Don't we wish we were tall and skinny?
as opposed to short and broader. Yes. We definitely wish we were tall and skinny. But so there's a change in proportion as well as a change in just the straight conversion. So it's challenging to figure out. So I put together a spreadsheet that will calculate it, I think. So Beth has got to use it and see if it works. And if it is, it's another tool we can
I am beta testing it. Okay, so next what we have is another piece of the brushed metallic foil, and this measures 3 1/8 by 3 1/8. So it is just the square to fit on this piece. And then the poinsettia paper is 3 inches by 3 inches. So again, I left 1/8 of an inch layer. Now this swirl, do you know where I got that from? It is from the painted label dies. Excuse me, this swirl right here. But it comes out with the center filled in. And I wanted more of that pretty paper to show. So I used the stitch circle, the second from the smallest. First I cut out the die and it was like this. And then I put the stitched in there and cut it out. So we had a die with the center missing.
It's like a wreath.
Yes. So then I glued my wreath on. And then the star of the show are the triangles for the Christmas trees. So for this Christmas trees, I did, oops, not that one. I did the third from the smallest.
And which set is this from? Stitch triangles?
The stitch triangles. That's what we're featuring today. So I cut out 2 of the trees and I popped those up on dimensionals. And what about the stars? Do you know where all the stars came from? They are the stitch stars. And I ran this star die that's adorable. You're going to see lots of cards made soon from this because I popped the stars out. Sometimes I even cut the little tiny star off. That's what these are. I cut those off of here. But now I have all these swirls, so I need to make more Christmas cards with those. But I popped out the stars and just sprinkled them everywhere. Some are flat on the cards, some are on dimensionals. But that's really all there is to it. Inside, this piece is 3 inches by 5 1/4, just so you have a nice place to write. And again, I put the star on the envelope. And so do you like it?
Where did this star come from?
This star is also from the stitch stars, not from that little die, but I used some of the other random other star dies. So I have more to show you. Steve hasn't even seen this. He was outside power washing my sidewalk.
Anything for you, baby.
So what do you think of this one? Do you like this one better or the metallic one? I had this idea just, a few minutes before we went live. I didn't put stars on the side, so there's not as many stars. And I forgot to cut out the center, but then I put rhinestones on the trees. So I'm curious, which one do you like better, Steve?
Well, I like the metallic one better because there's more variation. I think if this was not white, if this was something else on the white background.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to put on there.
Like, well, maybe even the same silver.
But the tree was silver, so I wasn't sure.
What about the purple? What if this was the purple?
But then the purple's on there.
Oh,
I needed 3 colors.
That is true.
Steve is new with the card making. Okay, so I made one other just like this, almost just like this, another variation. This is the Heartwarming Hugs paper. I use the layering square here and the stitch square here. And on this one, I used the third largest trees were back here, and the third from the smallest. Fourth from the smallest tree is in the middle. And then that one has a star. And maybe they all need a star. But I didn't think we needed as much on the sides. Do you like this one?
No, I really like this pattern. I think that's pretty.
It's pretty. This is another last minute card.
You know what else I like about that card?
What?
The red really pops off the green.
I thought you would like that.
Yeah.
I thought about making this card in Pear Pizzazz, but Steve's into really bold cards. Okay, now this I hope is going to blow you away. My mom is a quilter. So when I started working with the stitch triangles, I Googled triangle quilts and I found this quilt online. So I just looked at this picture and then I cut out a 4 by 5 1/4, this layer of white cardstock. And then I glued the triangles on. The triangles from this are the second smallest in this set. And I just did a variety of colors of blues. And then for the mango that the fox is, do you see this is his tail? Ears, nose, body, tail. Hopefully you can see it's a fox. I embossed with the subtle embossing folder, just the mango, but not the others. And then the eyes and the nose are cut out with a 1/4 inch circle punch. But you know, on the quilt, there were foxes and raccoons. So I had to make a raccoon too. So here's my raccoon. And on this one, after I put the triangles on, I ran the whole thing through the subtle embossing folder. And then the whites of the eyes are a 1/2 inch and the black is a 1/4 and the nose is popped up 1/4 inch. But do you see how he's looking off to the side? Our daughter, she's in her PhD program, but she stopped at home the other night and she didn't like the raccoon looking at her. So she made me move his eyes so he's looking that way. Steve thinks that's funny. She was scared of dolls looking at her when she was little too. You know,
it's
dolls.
amazing how, you know, she's brilliant, but she also has these phobias.
Scared of, you know, everybody has something. Okay, since again, my mom's a quilter, I had to make an actual quilt square. Now this one, I used the second smallest of the right. Isn't this a right triangle? Pretty sure it is. I did do geometry.
It is a right triangle.
Yay.
It's a 90-degree triangle.
Okay. So I cut, this is Heartwarming Hugs paper. And I cut out 4 of the red triangles, 2 of the green ones, and 2 of the white ones. And then I snipped the triangles down the center. I layered them on layering squares. And then this is the stitch circle, the smallest one, and it's popped up. So I made a cute little quilt. And then this is also stitched down here on the sentiment. So mom would be proud, don't you think?
Yeah. She would want to make that quilt now.
You think so?
Yeah.
Would she want to make the fox and the raccoon?
Well, she would think that was too easy.
Maybe for the little nephews.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another one. Do you like this one? So pretty. I used all 3 of our purples, gorgeous gray, purple posy, and Highland heather. And for this one, to get my triangles back in the right place, I used this entire stack of triangles except for the smallest. All the rest I used, and I just popped them up on top of each other. So it's all stitched. I did silver foil at the top, and then this beautiful ribbon. Can you see how sparkly this is? Everybody needs this ribbon. It is called Snowflake Splendor Ribbon. And then if you're wondering, this paper is the snowflake paper. I think it's so pretty with the splatters and the die cuts. This is silver embossed with silver embossing powder. So I like it. Do you like this card?
I like the card. I agree the ribbon really sets it off.
It does. Okay, now I went modern with Christmas. Isn't this fun? I love this one too. I love the stitch triangles, but you can probably tell that. Second smallest out of this set. I just popped them up on the card, popped up the silver foil stars, again, cut out of the stitch stars, so you need those too, and embossed Merry Christmas. And I love that it has the matching envelope. So if you have lots and lots of Christmas cards to make, I'm trying to send them to all my customers and all my family and friends this year. I figure with COVID, I'm home so much more, so I should make all the cards. But some of the cards like this that are so easy, they're cute, but they're really easy. So that is what I have for you today. I have a few other things to tell you. Where's our original card back? Here's the original card. So if you make a purchase today from any of the 12 demonstrators that demonstrated, you'll get a tutorial to make this card. Now, if you are not in the USA, of course, you can't buy from me. But I do have, for those in the USA, actually for everyone, I do have the autumn tutorial bundle. It's 82 autumn and fall tutorials made by demonstrators from all over the world. And the cards start, the sets that we use start on page 44 in the mini catalog. And they go all the way to 51. So if you have any of these sets or you're getting any of these sets, you want my tutorial. So in the USA, if you use my host code, which is right here, RVUUJKJ2, you'll get this entire bundle free. If you don't live in the USA, you can still get it from me. Go to stampingmom.com/autumn-tutorial-bundle, and you can purchase it for $21. And they do the conversion rate on the credit card online. So this is just from me with a purchase. And if you purchase from now until Monday, you can get that tutorial bundle. You'll also get the one of all 12 from everyone. Everyone who leaves a comment will be in a drawing for me to send you this card. So please leave me a comment. What else was I supposed to tell you? I do Facebook Lives on Wednesday, and then I upload them to YouTube, and it's Stamping Mom on YouTube. And I need 300 more subscribers, and there's enough of you on today. If you all went over to subscribe, Steve and I would be on YouTube Live instead of Facebook Live. Wouldn't that be awesome?
That would be awesome.
So what do you have anything to throw into the pot to get people to go subscribe on YouTube?
How about if I just say pretty please?
Pretty please. Steve says pretty please. Okay. So I'll show you all the cards again. So we have the purple cards. I must like purple. We have 3 purple cards. And we have, I don't believe that cards have to be traditional Christmas colors. So here you have it. Here's the cards. Please go get the stitch triangles. It's number 152710, and it's $35. If you get it bundled with the right triangle set, it is bundled for $46.75. This is the right triangle set that it's bundled with. And in the mini catalog, there's also a triangle set, and this is awesome as well. Well, you guys have been so wonderful. If you have any questions, leave me a comment, or you can email me. My email is beth@stampingmom.com. And thanks so much for watching. I hope you go make a card today and send a card and have a wonderful world card making day. Please come back and join my Facebook Live on Wednesday at noon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.